transitioning from the game emotionally is very difficult. And having that defining moment to say, I do personal and executive coaching, it released me. It freed me from some internal bondage that I didn't know existed.
Welcome to the Unstoppables. Today I have a special guest, and I define special as this. In my living room, I used to curse this guy. I used to root against this guy. I didn't like this guy. Never met this guy, thought I'd never meet this guy. Just didn't like this guy because see behind me, black and gold. Now black and gold is Pittsburgh Steelers. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, small town, 3,600 people, and the rite of passage as a boy growing up is black and gold. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's it. Well, this guy played for the Bengals, man. He was drafted by the Bengals, third round, so he's pretty good. He was a pain in my ass because it was competitive football, it was tough football. It was AFC North. Now we're on the same team. Now I love him. Didn't used to like him. Now I love him. His name is Leonard Wheeler. Leonard, welcome to the Unstoppables.
Oh, Bill, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
You know, Leonard, this is a place where we teach people to turn those intentions, those ideas they have in their heads, into real dollars. Because I think for both of us, it's about making a difference in people's lives. I want you to take me back to a place of pain, a place that I think before you can be inspired, you gotta feel that pain, that impoverished pain, whether it is poverty, true poverty, or whether it's just a longing of something, or just you want to know how much better you can really be. Tell me the pain and the tipping point that became your inspiration to become what you are today.
Oh, well, you know, first of all, that's a great question. And let me just tell you how I love the name Unstoppables. Okay. No, it is amazing. I love the name Unstoppables. When I think about a place of pain for me and really kind of a place where it was a tipping point, I really go all the way back to when I was 6 years old, where my dad carried me on the field crying to play to participate in my first practice as a Jet at 6 years old, as a little mini football player. And I literally remember crying and him carrying me on the field and me not understanding, what does this mean? Like, why do you want me to play football so badly? And what's so amazing is that parents see things in us that we can't see in ourselves at 6 years old. Like, what do I really know about, you know, playing football at 6 years old, what I can and can't do, what are my strengths and weaknesses? I don't even ask those questions at that age. And so growing up in the projects in Georgia, Bill, it really allowed me to see where I don't want to go back to. You know, I remember going home and the lights were out. I remember going home and we didn't have any food on the table until 8 o'clock at night, until our parents, you know, were able to come and bring us food. So those times really allowed me to appreciate any level of success that I attained to this point. And I can always really go back and kind of touch that place and remember what it's like to have empathy, you know, for people that are going through those same type of environmental discomforts.
In everything I look for in life, and I think that the high achievers in life look for this, is connection. And the similarities in what Leonard's talking about and I'm talking about by different states, by different, but not separated by different conditions because it's not too far removed. I grew up in a really poor town in Western PA where we had those combined family income was I think $13,000 at the time. We ate out of dented soup cans. And I didn't let that condition define me, but I remembered it with appreciation. And I knew that there was something better and I was willing to do whatever it took.
Yes.
To get out of there. I mean, I think that's a whole lot of it. So you're crying at 6 years old. You actually cried when Pittsburgh beat you probably, but we'll get into that. So I'll let that one go. But you had a 7-year career, man. That's a long run. And I'm going to ask you a question. A Navy SEAL once told me that a lot of success, and success to them is defined by did you live or did you not live, is about that 6 inches between your ears.
Yes.
And you got great physical gifts, so obviously, to get to that level of unfathomable level of talent to be in the NFL. What is it about your mindset, and what do you think it is about mindset in the NFL that makes that difference from high school, college, and then to that next elite level?
Well, I think first getting over playing Pittsburgh. and understanding how to beat them. That is a real mindset, and you have to be really internally and externally focused. And but I think to really take it to a level of playing in the NFL, I continue to see guys who are faster, stronger, and even sometimes smarter than I was.
No.
There was one thing that they could not do though. They could not outwork me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the foundation of my success, is that one, my belief system, my work ethic, and my determination and my faith. I'm telling you, when I put all of those and I created the right congruency to put all of that together at the right time, I then felt like I was unstoppable.
Congruency, alignment. That's the word of the day today. Being in alignment, being congruent. And the thing that Leonard talked about, I think, Leonard, this is key for me too. I knew from a very young stage in my career that I couldn't outthink everyone. And where I couldn't outthink him, I had to outwork him. If I couldn't outwork him, I had to outthink him. But boy, when I came into alignment with both, I was unstoppable. I mean, really. And that's how I just flew and grew. It was just fun. It was a game. But you made a transition from playing safety in the NFL to a CEO, and you now run Leonard Wheeler Enterprises. And you are the author of Beyond the Locker Room. Tell me about the book. Tell me about Leonard Wheeler Enterprises.
Well, I started Wheeler Enterprises 17 years ago. I changed the name to Trilucent Global because I was doing a lot of global work. And I started—
Trilucent spelled how?
Trilucent.
Trilucent. I want to make sure the audience can connect on that. Trilucent Global. Okay.
And that will be the Trilucent Global. And so I started the company, Bill, because I wanted to reach out to people and create transformation within people. I understood what leadership meant, but I didn't really know the depth of leadership, right? And really how people want to lead. And so I started really asking really important questions, because they always say the answers are in the questions, right? Tony Robbins talks about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to really know the answers, you have to learn to ask better questions. And so what I did was I became a life coach. I started doing personal coaching. Then I became an executive coach. I started doing more executive coaching workshops, etc. But I really started before I was— when I was a rookie in the NFL, Bill, I started speaking to high schools and middle schools and churches. But I grew up a compulsive stutterer. So you have all of these things that you want to do, but you also have these limiting beliefs within you because you've had this speaking impediment your entire life. And so you have all of this stuff working against you, right? So there's this war waging against you to become something that you can't even see yet.
That's great. That is overcoming and moving through. And I think that's what so many of us are unwilling to do. We're going to sit on our couch. We're going to say we can't do it. We're limits, and those ceilings, those limits and barriers become our life. And that really becomes our legacy at that point. If I want you to coach me, which would be an honor, what would you expect from me as your mentee? You're the mentor, you're the coach. Right. What do you expect from the people you coach?
I expect from the people I coach to be coachable. And because if a person is not coachable, it is almost a waste of my time. And one thing that I consider precious is my time. So if a person comes to me and they say, hey, Leonard, I want you to coach me. This is what I want. And then I'll ask certain questions. I'll always go into one area first: self-awareness.
I always say we hold up a mirror. It usually has denial and delusion because we don't have self-awareness. And I think that is the key, the precursor to everything in life is to be self-aware. You got to be able to see your own stuff when it's your own stuff that's due. You got to be able to call it on yourself. You got to be able to see where you need to work, and you can't candy coat that stuff. I mean, that's just part of the Western PA work ethic coming through to California. And I think that's to me, that's essential. We just put up something in the other company I have, the Woody's Group. We put up a new advertisement, let's say a recruitment tool for people. And one of the top lines is you got to be coachable. You're not coachable. You're right about time. You only got 24 hours, no matter how. I mean, it's not giving you back any more time. And
Yes.
you know, this is going to sound crass, but I'm going to tell you something about customer service and training people and being coachable. I spent a lot of money trying to coach people, and some people who were unwilling to learn, just unwilling, not unable, they were
Right.
unwilling. And I wrote this in my book. And I wrote, it's like trying to teach a pig to sing. And it's an old farmer's, tale that all you do when you try to teach a pig to sing is annoy the pig and waste your time. And I don't have that kind of time. And I'm just annoying people by trying to coach people that don't want to be coached. So what can they, the mentee then, they're coachable, they're ready, they're eager, they have a belief system. They will do the work and they have faith in you.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're going to give them.
So the first thing that I'll do, Bill, is I'll give them an assessment to complete. And that assessment is a quantitative analysis of how you think on paper. Okay. What I want to do is I don't want them to take my word for it. I want to create a third-party intervention where I can understand how to get to the foundation of where they are instead of playing around. Like, I don't want to waste their time. And I don't want them to waste my time. I'll give them an assessment that takes about 15 minutes. They'll go online, complete this assessment. It'll break it down into 3 different dimensions: intrinsic, extrinsic, and systemic, as far as how they think. 2 worlds, external and internal world. Because those 2 worlds collide together. In order for them to get something out of their internal world, they need to understand what's going on externally. And in order for them to understand what's going on internally, they just need to make sure that both worlds understand each other. And when we do that, then it's time to start coaching and moving forward.
So it's kind of like how I would draw up, and don't think dirty, a Venn diagram where you got the external.
Yes, I love Venn diagram. Yes.
Right?
Yes, love it.
Draw. If I don't draw, I can't.
Man, that is some great drawing too, by the way. I think.
Is it really?
You need to add that dimension. You need to add that dimension to your show.
Well, the show just went to shit real quick. There we go. now we're down a different road.
Oh.
What you said, I don't want people to lose this, because I have spent a lot of my time trying to find out why. And I've learned this, Leonard, that once I learn how, and you mentioned how a person thinks in your assessment, you want to learn how they think. Once you learn how they think, you're always going to have a what and a why behind it, because you're going to be able to predict their behavior. But how that thought process works is going to determine a lot of what that person's going to do. Matt, I love the how.
Yes.
Tell me about your book. What am I going to get from your book, Beyond the Locker Room? Is that correct?
Yes. So Beyond the Locker Room was a book that I had aspirations of writing that book, and I didn't know what I didn't know. That's number one. And so I have a business degree, I have a communications degree, and I went into this process knowing that, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how do you transition in life, not just after the game of football, right? But how do you take those transferable skills and implement those skills into creating a successful, sustainable life?
Yes.
Right. And I even talk about it. I had my daughter write a chapter. She runs track at Georgia Tech. And so I had her write a chapter on how to transition from high school into performing at a high level. Right. She's a junior at Georgia Tech. She's a pre-med major. And, she's performing at a high level. Well, the same thing is, how do you take that CEO or that military personnel and transition into real life? And so what I did was create a principle called Beyond the Locker Room, because all of us have a locker room. They just look different. And then transferring that into real life situations.
So she's a yellow jacket, right? So,
she's a yellow jacket. Are you a Georgia Bulldog fan now?
Well, I was for about 3 quarters. That is so, well, it's all about front running. Right? It's about front running. We all have a boy, you have tossed me right off the show. You've just taken over by charisma and style and intellect and energy. You just kicked me off. It's going to be the Leonard Wheeler Unstoppable Show with Bill Wittich as a guest next. I know it's coming. So let's talk about the big F word. The big F word for some people is fear, which is probably part of a derivative of this word for a lot. But on the show, we talk about overcoming failure. That is the way to be unstoppable. Is you've got to be able to move through. And Leonard, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know if we ever really overcome that the fear sometimes that we have, it's that thing that makes us human, but we're able to reduce sometimes the size of those shadows of fear. And I think that's the key, is to be able to move through those. So what was your biggest failure?
Oh, man, gosh.
Didn't have any, huh? All right, next question.
So my biggest failure, well, first of all, we call it false evidence appearing real.
There you go.
Right? So false evidence appearing real. We know that fear is real. Fear, I look at fear like this. Fear is always waiting to be picked up again.
Oh, not wait. Can I use this as don't give Leonard credit.
No.
But fear is always waiting to be picked up again. That's my next tweet.
There you go.
Thanks, Leonard.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome anytime. That was free too, by the way. But so fear is always waiting to be picked up again. It's just the thing that triggers it. So we all have something that triggers certain fears in our life. It could be a fear of speaking, a fear of approaching somebody, a fear of doing a cold call, whatever those things is. When I think about, my biggest failure, man, you put me on the spot on that one. That's just not right. I think somebody in your office should hold you more accountable.
Done.
I had more as a child. I just never had that thing. I don't know.
I think, gosh, man, this is gonna hurt me. This is really gonna hurt. You are so wrong for this. Gosh gracious, I don't know if I like you anymore.
No.
Let me see here. Gosh, one of my biggest failures. Oh, you're just not right. Can I put up the Venn diagram and talk through this?
Let's just cut for commercial. We'll be right back with that.
Right back.
Okay. You are going through. Well, I think I just cut. You are going through what I went through with a friend of ours in New York, and his name is Steve Carlos. And
yes.
he talked about writing the book on failure, and I said, "What are you talking about? Well, what do I look to you like failure? I mean, wait, setbacks, obstacles? Yeah, okay. Have I had setbacks and obstacles and things that didn't work all the time? Failure? No, man. I failed math tests when I was in school. Did that. Other than that, I don't remember it. So I'm feeling your pain, but I ain't letting you off the hook.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna
commercial. Here we are.
Okay, hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna get, okay. So probably I would say one of my biggest failures. Can I name two of them?
For you, yes.
Thank you, Bill. You're such a man of grace.
For you, yes.
I would say probably not. Early on, I did not take school serious.
Cool. There's two of us.
I took it serious really towards the end, and I really had some great accomplishments. But man, when I was like in high school, I didn't take academics seriously. I went to junior college because no one recruited me out of high school. I went to a small junior college called Lees McRae Junior College in Banner Elk, North Carolina, to where I ended up being a Hall of Famer there. But let me just tell you, I failed myself and I failed my family because the expectations that I had were too small. You know, I had small expectations, therefore I had small performances. And so I failed myself in that regard. And I ended up having to really climb and dig and to get out of that rabbit hole because I didn't take things serious as I should have, as serious as I should have.
Like most things in life, that was worth the wait. It's more sweet. That was a sweet answer, and it was actually worth the wait. Those great things are. You know, I went to a junior college too because I didn't take academics serious, and I went to a small school, Ferrum, Virginia, in Virginia, and then I went on to Purdue, and then I went to Penn State, got my master's. But the whole thing was a process of learning that I had to be serious in life about something, and academics was one of my ways out. Was to be able to connect with people and then use street smarts, which I think I have some, and synthesize that with what book smarts are, and just always process. So we've got similarities there, my friend. But it was worth the wait, and I think that so many of us put that low ceiling on it. I think Tim Story has been a guest on the show, And he talked about low ceilings in life in his family. Literally low ceilings in the house that equated to the same kind of ceilings of expectation that the family put on the kids. And he was the first one to break out of that and become the Tim Story that's unstoppable.
Break out, yes.
Man, you know, to succeed in how we define success is one of the key things, I think, in our ability to keep moving that bar to next, and we're going to fail. How do you define success?
Gosh, I define success. I always equate success with the people that I help to succeed.
Legacy, baby.
Yeah, and that is really what I want part of my legacy to be. How many people did I bring with me? How many people did I invest in? How many people did I serve? Right? And what was the end result of what I did? Not necessarily monetarily.
Just really have gone from like to love, because I believe that the external measurement, the monetary measurement, can always be taken away. And it's a zero-sum game. There's always someone with more, and it's the most empty feeling there is. And Leonard, people who've come in here and crushed it and made millions of dollars have looked at me when they came in and said, I got $200. I want to be a millionaire. When they became that, they looked for one thing that was most elusive, and they couldn't find it. They said, hey, wait a minute, I'm not happy.
Yes.
Happiness and money are often mutually exclusive. And it's not, to me, it's always been about legacy and creating people, developing people. And I think that, to me, has been, just personally, my greatest success. And that's really how I define it as well. And good thing you caught that, because I was all out of commercials. But the next thing I have for you is going to probably be commercial worthy.
Come on,
I'm telling you, strap it on.
Come on, I'm ready.
Here's the question.
Running down on the kickoff right now.
You better go all balls out, because you only get one shot at this one. You only get one answer.
Bring it.
What is your defining moment?
Oh, you are just
that thing's way up there deep, isn't it?
One of my defining moments. You know, one of my defining moments is when I was transitioning from football. And I was able to say, finally, what I did for a living.
Yeah.
That was a defining moment for me, brother. Because transitioning from the game emotionally is very difficult. And having that defining moment to say, I do personal and executive coaching, it released me. It freed me from some internal bondage that I didn't know existed.
You got all of that, man. You went 109 yards of that. That was great. I mean, I've heard a lot of people.
Was I high stepping though?
Let's not go like it. Was that White Shoes Johnson? You going Deion Sanders? I mean, where are you going with that thing? I mean, come on. Okay, let's stay on football just a minute. This is my own personal identification.
Okay.
Well, what's the hardest hit you ever took, and who gave it to you?
Oh, you know who gave me one of the hardest licks I've ever taken, which is so funny. Okay, you know Solomon Wilcox, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Played for the 49ers, one of the teams he played for, right? But played for the Bengals too as well, I think.
Played for the Bengals too, and Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah, he was on Pittsburgh when you did it, probably. Here it comes.
Yeah, he was on Pittsburgh when he did it because they're dirty. But anyway, so I was running down the field, and I knew that I was kind of the hot man in this game, and they had to stop me because I was actually running crazy. Okay, I was taking over Pittsburgh. But anyway, so
of course you were.
So I was. Hey, every story gets better every year. Okay, so I was running down the field, and Solomon literally blindsided me. I mean, literally decleated me. Okay, I would never admit this to him. So even if he watches this, I'm gonna say I don't remember saying that. And then he did it again. So 2 times in one game, he freaking decleated me 2 times in one game from 2 different sides.
Okay, I got to give you now the fair shot. The hardest hit, when you just lit somebody up. Tell me who that was. Or if you don't remember the name,
it was in Chicago.
Thank God it wasn't Pittsburgh.
It was on a kickoff. I was running down the kickoff, and I literally decleated somebody, the kickoff returner guy in 1997. You can look up the footage, or I'll even send it to you, brother.
Send it.
Send.
it was game on. I was unstoppable that game.
Unstoppable.
He's taking over the show.
I love it.
He's taking it from step one. He's taking over the show. This would be a topic for another show, and I would be honored to have you back because I had fun with you. How big of a problem? And I know this question is going to open up so many more doors.
Okay.
We're going to do it. How big of a real problem are concussions today in the NFL?
Well, so I'm a director for the Legends community for the NFL. So I work for the NFL, okay? And I've seen this personally, and I've seen it from a business perspective, is that concussions, the reason I love that everything is coming to the forefront, Bill, is because parents need to learn how to ask better questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the game of football has changed, and the game of football will never return. And it's prevalent. It's important for the players to understand how they need to tackle differently from the way we did growing up. Okay, and so the game of football has become safer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's relevant right now for everyone to ask the questions that they're asking. I think it's fair. But to understand that the game of football teaches so many amazing lessons that I don't want people to measure it by concussions alone, but understand the entirety of what the game does for everybody.
I think it's one of the best answers I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this. I mean, I hear so much shit because it depends on the source. And I love that you came up with credibility, said you work for the NFL. So you're telling me a slander or bias, but I think you're coming at me with an honest answer.
Thank you.
I got respect.
You've taught me well. You've taught me well in such
I'll tell you what you taught me, because I'm terrible at this, obviously, and I'm the interviewer, but is to ask better questions, because that in life is the key. We're always looking for answers, but we're not probably asking the right questions. We're not probably asking enough questions. You know, there's a Japanese model called Kaizen, and that's the 5 whys. You just want to keep asking like a little kid, why,
Yes.
why, and you find your way. I'm going to let you close with this. I could keep you on here forever, but I really could. What is next for you? What's the next bar you're setting up that you're going to jump over? And of course, you're going to fail. So what is it? What's next for you?
First of all, it's game on. I mean, it is game on. It's game on. I'm going to teach a leadership series with Steve Carlos. You know, you and I, we do a lot of work with Steve.
Yes.
I'm writing a couple of more books as well. We're going to do a big thing at the Legends, for the Legends community at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be at the Super Bowl, and just continually creating and developing my brand.
So this is more for me, just for my own ego.
Okay.
Very fragile right now since you beat me down.
Oh no! Hug him! Hug him!
And we won't call it sexual harassment. We'll just call it.
Oh my God.
So, has Steve Carlos ever given you a compliment?
You know what? He did. Steve gave me a compliment, but I remember giving him some money afterwards. Maybe it was for that compliment. I can't remember. But he has given me a compliment though.
But that's like pulling teeth, isn't it? So,
Yeah, it was kind of tough for Steve. He did some grunting afterwards.
Yeah, that's the same Steve we know and love.
Yeah,
But he's gonna love watching this. He's gonna watch this. He's a huge fan of yours. I want to write the forward for your next book. So
I love that. Thank you.
Oh, now all of a sudden I volunteered myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it's got to be really good.
Man, come here, buddy.
Man, it's so hard. Leonard, where can the audience find you?
You can find me on leonardwheeler.com. You can find me on Instagram at leonardwheeler7. You can find me on Twitter at leonardwheeler7, and you can find me on Facebook at Leonard Wheeler.
Belief, hard work, and faith is what makes Leonard Wheeler unstoppable. He has taken over this show. And I'll tell you what, he's the only one worthy of doing it. Love you, man. You were great.
Thank you so much. You're awesome. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Leonard.
Thank you, brother. Bye-bye.